Good day, viewers. Welcome to SmartFlix TV. My name remains Geoffrey Joshua. Today, we'll be taking the concluding part of standard form. Standard form. In our last class, I gave us some assignments, 3 of them, and I also told us that we had to get some materials ready because we'll be needing them from time to time. Number 1, scientific calculator. 2, 4-figure table. 3, graph booklet. And number 4, you will need notebooks for each of these subjects. Now, let's solve the classwork I gave us. I'll be starting from number 2 because number 2 looks very simple and like the other ones we've done before. Now, let me take it. 0.00707. Now, if you look at this number very well, you discover that this number is less than what? Is less than 1. And when it's less than 1, what do? We move the dot to the unit value forward. Now, let's go. 1, 2, 3. If it goes 3 times, it becomes 7.07 times 10 raised to power of what? Minus 3. Because we are moving from the left to the right, it becomes minus 3. When we are moving from the right to the left, it becomes a positive 3. So this is the answer to the number 2. Are we clear? Now, let me come again. 0.00707. To solve this question, the first thing that will come to your mind is this number greater than 1 or less than 1? Of a truth, 0.00707 is less than 1. So it means that we are going to count forward to the unit value. The dot is at this edge, so you count it 1, 2, 3 to the unit value, which is 7. It gives us the minus 3. Then we'll go 7.07 times 10 raised to power what? 3. So with that, we are good with number 2. Let's take the number 1 now. 3 times 10 raised to power minus 3 multiply by 5 times 10 raised to power minus 2. The reason I said we should take this one next was because I have to explain 1 or 2 things to us, which I have not explained before. But the first one was just a straightforward question. It is what I will explain in the number 1. We'll use to do number 3, and at the same time, we'll still use it to do other things. Now, from what we have here, this is multiplying each other. This one is a standard form already. This one is another standard form. Now, wants to combine the two together. So in this case, we'll call it like multiplication of standard form. Now, how do we solve this? It's simple. Take the 3 here, multiply it with the 5. Take this 10 here, multiply with the 10. Because this value here and this value here, they look alike. And this one here and this one here, they look alike. Now, how do we go? Just go 3 times 5, multiply by 10 raised to power minus 3, multiply by 10 raised to power minus 2. If we do this, 3 times 5, what would that give us? 15 times 10 raised to power minus 3 times 10 raised to power minus 2. Now, in our last class, I told us that when you have a number like this, we call it a base. And what you have at the top, we call it a power or what? Index. Now, I will quickly introduce our next topic, which is indices, briefly here. This is a base. This is another base. They are the same base. If you have 2 bases that are the same, what you do is that you take one of the base. If you have multiplication in between them, you will add their powers together. This is what I mean. If you have a raised to power b times a raised to power c, what you do here will be what? A, b plus c. You take one of the base, then you add the power together. So that is what we are going to apply in this case here. It becomes 15 times 10 raised to the power minus 3 plus minus 2. Now, I want you to be very careful when you see minus, because a negative to any value will negate anything you are doing or will change the value of whatever you are doing. And that is why at this point in time, you have to put a bracket where you have a minus. Then in this case, it becomes 15 times 10 minus 3 plus times minus will give you what? Minus 2. So which will give us 15 times 10 raised to the power what? Minus 5. Okay? If you leave your answer like this, you are fair, but you are not good enough. So we have to take our value back to where you have your unit value in this 15. And like I told us, when you have values like this, the unit value, you put your dot in front of it because your dot is not showing. So your dot is moving once, and it's moving is greater than what? 1. So it's moving to the what? Back side. So it becomes 1.5 times 10 raised to the power what? 1. So we have it here, 1.5 times 10 raised to the power what? 1 multiplied by 10 raised to the power minus 5. Are we good here? Now with this here, you still apply the same law in this other place also. It becomes 1.5 times 10 raised to the power 1 plus minus 5, which will give us finally 1.5 times 10 raised to the power 1 minus 5. Because plus times minus will give you minus. Then conclusively we have 1.5 times 10 raised to the power 1 minus 5 will give what? Minus 4. That's our final answer. I hope we are clear here. And we are taking down the notes. I will have to rub up so that we can continue. Okay? Now, this is the answer to that question. We'll take the number 3. It's very similar to the first one. 6.4 times 10 raised to the power 3 divided by 8 times 10 raised to the power minus 4. Easily, you can just do it like this. 6.4 times 10 raised to the power 3 divided by 8 times 10 raised to the power what? Minus 4. It's very simple. Let's apply the same method we did in the first one. It will just be like this. 6.4 divided by 8 multiplied by what? 10 raised to the power what? 3 divided by 10 raised to the power what? Minus 4. Now, this side, we can use our calculator to do it. And this side will apply the law of what? Indices. That law of indices here is the law of divisional law. It said that if you have a base, like we have here, and you have their powers, the base, you take one of the base, then the powers will be subtracted from each other. Example, if you have a raised to the power b divided by a raised to the power c, it will now be what? A, b minus c. So in this case, we are going to apply the same method, which will give us what? 10, 3 minus, open a bracket, minus 4. Okay? Are we clear? Yes. So let's progress. This is 6.4 over 8. Let's assume you don't have a calculator, or let's assume maybe you are writing JAMB and there's no calculator and you have to solve this. It's very simple. All you just need to do is to just say 6.4 divided by 8, like you did in this one. Now, this 6.4 you have here, turn it to fraction. It becomes 64 over, where you have your point, put a 1 here. Anything after that one, turn it to 0. So it becomes 10 divided by 8. This one will give you 8 over 1. 64 over 10 times 1 over what? 8. What we are doing here is that we are converting your division to multiplication. Because in mathematics, you can't solve with division directly, especially when you're having fractions. So you have to convert that division to multiplication. And in doing that, the value, the numerator and denominator have to interchange each other. Okay? Now, in this case, this is what we'll be having here. You have this. Now, let's see what we can do. Let's cut 8 here, 1. 8 here, 8. Because 8 times 8 will give you 64. Here you have 8 over 10. So here becomes here 8 over 10 times 10, 3. Minus times minus will give you what? Plus 4. So here becomes what? 8 over 10 times 10 raised to the power what? 7. We cannot leave our answer like this. Turn your answer to standard form. Now, before you turn your answer to standard form, convert this fraction to decimal. 8 over 10 will give you 0.8 times 10 raised to the power what? 7. Convert 0.8 to standard form. What would that give you? Let's take it as we did the first one. 0.8. 0.8 is less than 1. So we are counting forward. So you are going 1. So it just be 8 times 10 raised to the power minus 1. So it become 8 times 10 raised to the power minus 1 times 10 raised to the power what? 7. Okay? Look at it again. The law is still coming up again. Indices. 10 raised to the power minus 1, 10 raised to the power 7. So what do we do here? Let's apply the simple logic we applied the last time. Now, it will just give us 8 times 10 raised to the power minus 1 plus 7, which will give you 8 times 10 raised to the power minus 1 plus 7 will give you what? 6. And this is our conclusive answer. Are we clear here? Okay, let's proceed. I have been able to solve the 3 questions I gave us as our classwork and assignment. I will take 2 more questions so that we'll be able to conclude a standard form. I believe by the end of this assignment and classwork, you should be able to solve any questions that relate to standard form. And if there's anyone you did not understand, kindly go to our YouTube channel and drop the questions there. We will attend to them and we'll send you back as a feedback. Okay, let me write down the 2 questions. Okay, these are the 2 questions we'll be looking at. And I believe, like I said earlier, at the end of these 2 questions, we should be good with a standard form. Okay, let's take the first one. 3 times 10 raised to the power minus 6 divided by 4 times 10 raised to the power minus 4. Okay, now, like we did the last one, just go like this. Divided by what? 4 times 10 raised to the power minus 4. Now, let's split it. It becomes 3 over 4 times 10 raised to the power minus 6 divided by 10 raised to the power what? Minus 4. Okay, let's take this part first. 10 raised to the power what? Minus 6. Division will turn to what? Minus. Minus 4. Okay. Now, this will give you 10 minus 6. Minus and minus will give you what? Plus 4. Now let's come to this other side. 3 over 4. 3 over 4 is 3/4, which is 0.75. And if you don't know how to do that one, just use a calculator to do 3 over 4. And if you have a calculator, let me just show you briefly. 3 divided by 4. 4 in 3 cannot go. You put dot. Then you put 0 here. 4 in 30, 7. 7 times 4, 28. You have 2. 4 in 20, 5. So you have here to be 0.75. We're almost there. Now 0.75 times 10 raised to the power minus 6 plus 4. Let's go here. Minus 6 plus 4 will give you minus 2 times 0.75. And like I did earlier, let's go back again. 0.75. 0.75 is less than 1. And since it's less than 1, what will we do? We move forward. And to get our unit value, which is 7 here, how many times do we move? We move just once. So it becomes 7.5 times 10 raised to the power minus 1. So it becomes 7.5 times 10 raised to the power minus 1 times 10 raised to the power minus 2. So we have here to be 7.5 times 10 raised to the power minus 1 plus minus 2, which will give you 7.5 times 10 raised to the power minus 1 plus times minus minus. So you have minus 1 minus 2, which will give us conclusively 7.5 times 10 raised to the power minus 3. Okay? Now, this is for this question. Have you written it down? Now let's take the second one. Let's take the second question. The second question is 8 times 10 raised to the power 9 divided by 1.6 times 10 raised to the power minus 3. Now, let's still move the same approach. 8 times 10 raised to the power 9 divided by what? 1.6 times 10 raised to the power minus 3. What will this give us? It will give you 8 divided by 1.6 times 10 raised to the power 9 divided by what? 10 raised to the power minus 3. The reason we are doing this directly is because these numbers, they are indices, and we can just take it once and for all and end the class. Okay? Now, let's go again. It becomes 10, 9 minus what? This will give you 3. So this will give you 10, 9 plus 3, which will give you 10 raised to the power 12. So we are done with this side. Now let's come to the other side. We have 8 divided by 1.6. And like I said, you can use your calculator to do this. At the same time, for those of us that are new in mathematics, I also want to make it simple to you by showing you how to do this simple division. So how do we do it? We just come aside here. We have 8 divided by what? 1.6. So 8 divided by this 1.6, let's turn it to a fraction. It becomes 16 over, where you have this dot, make it 1. Anything after that dot, make it 0. 16 over 10. 16 over 10 will still give us 1.6. Okay? Now, what do? We convert this division to multiplication. And I've told you why. And when you are doing that, what you have at the denominator here will go up. So you have here to be 10 over what? 16. Here 1. Here what? 2. 2 here 1. 2 here what? 5. So we have 5 here. So it means that 8 over 1.6, if you use your calculator, it will give you 5. So let's just put the 5 here. So let's just put the 5 here. Let's just put the 5 here. So with that, we are good to go. Okay? So from what we have done here, I believe that most of us would have had a very good grip of what? Standard form. In our next class, we'll be looking at indices, and I will explain more on the rules governing indices. And if you don't understand this part I did here very well, don't bother yourself, because in indices, when we finish indices, when you go back to standard form, these ones we've done before will become so what? Simple. Thank you very much. God bless you. Please and please subscribe to SmartFlix TV, and do not forget to click the notification button. Thank you. God bless you.